everyone, it's Hannah here from Virtually Fluent. Welcome to today's Upper Intermediate Grammar video, where we will be talking about the advanced verb formation rules in English. Now, this is a really tricky topic because there's such a tiny difference in meaning between all these verbs we'll look at with their different verb forms. It's really important that you understand the basic verb formation rules first before looking at this video. So I've left the link to our grammar course and video to that in the description below. But for now, let's build on that and get started with some advanced verb formation. So just a quick recap of what verb formation is. This is when we have two verbs in a sentence right next to each other. The first verb, potentially a couple more because we could have some auxiliaries, but the first main verb is conjugated according to our subject and tense. The second verb has a special verb form in English. Those are the ones we're looking at today. Now, traditionally, those verb forms could either be the bare infinitive, to plus infinitive, or the gerund ing. Now, today we are going to focus on just the to plus infinitive and the gerund ing, and that's because there are some verbs that can be used in both of these structures. Sometimes we have some verbs just like these ones that can be used in both structures and there's no change in meaning. You can use the one you feel more comfortable with. There are a couple where there's a slight difference. For example, like, love, hate, prefer, those opinion verbs in English. Generally, when they're used with to plus infinitive, we tend to focus on it being a routine or a habit. Whilst with the gerund, the ing, it's more an experience or the actual action of it happening. But we are going to focus on these 7 verbs where actually the meaning in the sentence changes depending on which verb formation you use. So let's start with the verb forget. Past tense, forgot. I forgot to write that report. I forgot writing that report. Do you know what the difference is? I forgot to write that report with to plus infinitive means you did not do this action because you simply had a memory lapse or you were so busy you did not do this action. However, when we use forget with the gerund ing, it means you did this action at some point in the past. You just don't have the memory of doing that, but it has happened. So very different meanings with to plus infinitive or gerund ing. Our next verb is go on, and again with to plus infinitive or gerund. Let's take this example. She went on to be the CEO. Now, this is used to say that we have two separate events. The first one is different to the second. At this point, let's say she is a director to start. And then after she progresses or is promoted, advances to a different role, in this case, CEO, to plus infinitive. She went on to be CEO. However, when we use it with the gerund, it has the same meaning as to continue something. So there's no change from A to B. She went on being CEO. She was CEO before, and now she is also CEO. So there's no change with the gerund. Now, our next tricky verb is quit. For example, he quit working here, he quit to work here. With the to plus infinitive, it's very similar to that go on. We have two separate events. He quit something in order to work here. He quit company A to work at company B. He quit to work here. That same meaning as in order to. However, quit plus ing means that he has stopped this particular action. He quit working here at company A, and we don't know what his next steps are. Our next verb is regret. Let's take the example, I regret to tell you that you didn't get in. Here, the person at the beginning of the sentence does not know that they haven't got into a university or a school. And you are effectively saying, I regret to tell you that I am going to tell you some bad news in a second. By the end of the sentence, they know the bad news, but at the beginning of the sentence, they don't know. I regret to tell you, in 1 second, that you didn't get in. Regret with the gerund means you already told the person the bad news at some point in the past, but you feel a bit guilty and a bit sad about that. I regret telling you last week that you didn't get into university. Our next verb is remember. For example, I remembered to visit my mum in hospital. Here with the to plus infinitive, it's like something on a checklist. Check, yes, I remembered to do that. This is an activity or a task that you need to complete. However, when you are looking back and thinking of a nice memory and really remembering what you did, then we would use remember with the gerund form. Yes, I remember visiting mum in hospital and we did this and we watched that. So this is a memory, a personal memory from the past. And our next verb is try. So try with to plus infinitive means that something is difficult to do, but you are attempting it. For example, she tried to close the door even though something was in the way, blocking the door from being closed. Try plus gerund is where you have a problem and you are listing some potential solutions to that problem. For example, it's really cold in here. Have you tried closing the door, closing the window? You can see we've got a list of possible solutions here. And our last one is the verb to stop. This is very, very similar to our quit example. So stop plus to plus infinitive means you stop action A in order to start action B. For example, I stopped to eat lunch at 12 p.m. I stopped something in my job, some work, some task, and at 12 p.m. I ate my lunch. That is the second event. But with the gerund ing, you are telling me which action you are stopping. I stopped eating lunch at 12 p.m. and I started eating lunch at 1 p.m. instead. Now there are 3 other little verbs I would like to have a look at because they don't entirely change the meaning, but it is important to recognize these differences. Generally, the verb need is used with a to plus infinitive when it is an active sentence. For example, I need to do my homework. However, in the passive form, you may often see it being followed by the ing gerund instead. My hair needs cutting. By whom, we don't know. The second verb to be aware of is the verb mean in English. Now, it's often followed by the to plus infinitive when you are expressing that something should have happened in the past and you were supposed to do that in the past, but you didn't do that, or you haven't done it yet. Maybe you will in the future. For example, I meant to tell you about my exam. And then you can then explain the story about the exam. So generally in the past form, however, in more present and in future forms, and generally providing meanings and definitions, then it would be followed by the gerund instead. For example, our early flight means getting up early. So as you can see, there are such minute differences between the 2 forms with to plus infinitive or the gerund following all of these verbs. It's really important to have a look at lots of example sentences to fully understand how these verbs are used grammatically correctly in your English sentences. If you would like to practice this further, see plenty of example sentences, take online quizzes, complete our online worksheets, activities and games, you can check out our advanced verb formation grammar course. I will leave the link to that in the description below, but that's everything you need to know about advanced verb formation in English. If you learned something new, go ahead and give us a like today. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, Virtually Fluent YouTube channel, and also turn those notifications on so you know exactly when we have released a new video on English grammar, pronunciation, or vocabulary to help you boost your English language skills. That's everything for today. This is Hannah from Virtually Fluent, bringing English to life.